Before I even go into spoilers in this Spider-Man No Way Home review, there's one thing that I have to get right off of my chest before I get ready to go Denny Green on the rest of this movie and this review.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
This movie, there is a part in this movie where I absolutely was ready to jump up and scream in the middle of the movie theater. And no, ladies and gentlemen, it was not a part where everybody else was ready to jump out of their seats and scream when everybody was seeing all the cool things that were going on screen in other parts of the movie. When we had Toby and Andrew and this and that and everybody else, when everybody else was cheering and all this stuff. Yeah, not that time. My time was towards the very beginning of this movie when I was vilified, and there's a lot of you out there, you know what? There's a lot of you son of a bitches out there that owe me a f***ing apology. You know what? Because there's one thing I've got to say right now. They let you know towards the beginning of this movie that Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme. It's Wong. I've been on this channel forever trying to tell you guys. You know what? And here's the thing. Everybody comes around acting so smug. Oh, what do they gotta say it? Yes, they have to say it. And we finally seen in this movie. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, Rachel Dolezal, Amy Pascal.
See that?
For finally proving my point. You know, people, like I said, come around and smug like, oh, what do they got? Yeah, they gotta say it. The last time we knew, he said he was a master of the mystic arts, and it finally came out that he's not even the Sorcerer Supreme. How's that feel? Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. I've been trying, you know what? And I know there's people, if you guys have been following any of my live streams or anything, hanging around long enough, you know how, oh man, you know how good this feels for me to be right. Where I told you that he was not, oh man, why is this so hard for people to understand? You know, and I know the thing is everybody was out there, you know, they're like, oh, well, when the Ancient One died, she was the Source Supreme, so, you know, he's the Source Supreme, like, no, that's not how it works. And I tried to explain it simply, like, say you're in a karate class. Say you're a freaking green belt, and your sensei dies, but you're the next one in line. You don't just become the sensei, you don't just become the black belt, you don't become the master. That's not how it works. There's levels. It takes training. It takes all those kinds of things. And I'm telling you, I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but you know what? Thank you, Kevin Feige. I feel vilified. I've been trying to tell you guys. He's not the Sorcerer Supreme. He's not the Sorcerer Supreme. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here today. Sorry, let me straighten my shirt up a little bit here. Talk a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home. You know what? I thought this movie was very good. I really did enjoy this one. Where does it fall in all of my Spider-Man movies? How much did I like it? For me, it's really going to be hard to say because I've got a lot of mixed feelings about a lot of the things that happen in this movie regarding everything that happens in this movie.
We played them in preseason. Who the hell takes a third game in the preseason like it's bull?
But I gotta tell you, this is probably definitely the best of the John Watts trilogy of Spider-Man films that they have done with Marvel Studios so far. I think all the actors came in here and did a great job in doing what they were doing.
We played them in the third game. Everybody played three quarters. The Bears are who we thought they were.
It did all these things towards the beginning of the movie to give us and bring us back to that far from home vibe and that feel, you know, bring us back into that world after everything that we've had since the last Spider-Man film. It seems like it's been a long haul since Spider-Man Far From Home, but really, like, there's only been I guess there's quite a few, but like there's only been a few movies since its last movie came out. So I don't know. But it seems like it's been a while since we've been here, and it felt good to get back into this this world and then just kind of see how it is, how everything is going according to everything that else that's happened. I thought they did really good with that, you know, getting all the character interactions, and I feel that these characters have kind of grown a little bit more comfortable with each other, where we see like all the characters together when you get like Zendaya and Jacob Batalon and Tom Holland on screen together. They're not as awkward and kind of weird and everything, you know, even like with their friendships and everything, which is one other thing. Like, did they really go there? Is this now a 3-way relationship? I don't know, man. It's sure like Ned was sure in there pretty friendly. And we did see how he was all in, and looked like MJ was having looked like she had some reservations there at the beginning, did it not? It looked like she was having some doubts. It looked like she was it looked like she was getting ready to end it. Am I the only one that felt that way? You know, when they were on the roof and everything before, you know, like she was kind of holding her hand, they showed the kind of, you know, like she was, am I the only one? Am I the only one? They ended it regardless, right? If you've been paying attention to like all of the leaks and everything out there, this movie, it is what we thought it was.
And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Right? It is. It is what look. If everybody's gonna be happy and wants to crown this movie the best one of them all, hey, you want to crown their ass, crown their ass. It's okay. We start to see all the villains come in, and we see quickly they have an idea to deal with them when he goes to Doctor Strange. You know, he gives him like changes his whole little web shooter thing into a gauntlet that's gonna shoot the bad guys into these little containment chambers until they could do all this stuff, all the little stuff, and send them back to their realms, right? So they're doing all these things. They bring Willem Dafoe in, and I'm telling you, man, Willem Dafoe fucking kills it in this movie. There's just some parts, like every part that Willem Dafoe is in this movie is absolutely great. The point when he made his turn, oh man, I'm like, yes, this is what I needed. I needed not only that sinister Norman Osborn Green Goblin, but I needed to see Willem Dafoe doing that thing, that face that he has, man. I'm telling you, Willem Dafoe, dude, just beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, that's one of the best things about this is because you see all that. Like, there's points where he's sitting there going toe-to-toe with Spider-Man, and he's sitting there punching him in the face, and he's like, yeah! Dude, I love it. I'm telling you. It's like some of these actors were kind of like born to play these roles, and Willem Dafoe is definitely like he's that way in a lot of the roles that he's in anyway. He's just like that guy to play that role. You know what I mean? And I mean, even if you think about like the police detective that he played in American Psycho, just that tiny little role, he's just so perfect. And then here we see him come in, and he was he's just the perfect Norman Osborn. Like, just, oh man, it's just so great. I loved it. I loved it. Now, that is one of the other things about this movie that I've got to say, though. And we got all the, we even got Flint Marko. I didn't even realize that Thomas Hayden Church was going to come back for this. I mean, I knew Sandman was there, but that's not to say they're just going to have somebody do a voice and they're going to do everything electronically anyway. Anyway, I thought just kind of bringing all these characters in, it was good. We kind of knew they were all going to do it if you've been paying attention to all the stuff that's going on. Also, the other thing, I forgot to mention, when they bring, who else did they bring in? Daredevil. Yeah, we finally got to see Matt Murdock coming up into this movie as well, being the lawyer. We obviously know that he's going to be Daredevil, or he is Daredevil in this particular iteration here. Obviously, he's going to be Daredevil for the rest of it. I'm guessing it's not just this cameo, just this movie. Certainly not. But just all the things that they're doing in there, all together, bringing in all the villains, and then by the time we get to that peak of it all, after he's went to Doctor Strange and had to had him do the spell. Doctor Strange's like, hey, did you even call them and try to appeal it? And then he goes into the thing, and that's been all the back, all that stuff. Very great stuff. It seemed like so much happened up to that point when the villains were getting there. Like a lot really happened in the time that we had here. And then by the time it hit that point when Green Goblin turns, And that's when we finally see, it had been speculated Aunt May was gonna die. Somebody's got to die because you know what? Like we didn't really get the Ben Parker thing where Ben was gonna give him the with great responsibility, great power comes great responsibility line. We see in this movie he loses Aunt May and the circumstances and everything that it is, and how it's her that does that. Now, I gotta say, I know for some people they're not gonna like it. I know there's people out there that are probably like, hey, that was Ben Parker that said that. And that's not really the case. That was the case in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man thing. And I believe I think he even did that. He even did that in Amazing Spider-Man 2. But the thing is if you go back to the comic books, even my man Chillmonger did a video about this exact thing, was if you go back to the old comic books, it was the person narrating the story. It wasn't Ben or anybody in particular that actually said it. It wasn't somebody speaking to Peter. It was kind of a narrator. So it kind of makes sense where we've had, and traditionally a lot of us know it to be Ben that actually says this, and maybe at some point in the comic book, at some other point after the original version of Peter Parker, at some other point they redid that story, and maybe Ben did say it. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it did happen. I haven't read every Spider-Man story out there. But we see here that it's Aunt May. And I know some people, even myself, I have mixed feelings about it. Like, just some of the other kind of things that they do here as well. But we see it, and it was a great moment too. Just everything they're going around it, because we got that sinister Norman Osborn. He loses his Aunt May, and that's when it finally hits for him. When we see they all come together, the coming together of the three Spider-Men. I thought it was some really cool stuff seeing everybody there back together. They obviously had a lot of kind of silly banter between all of the Spider-Men as well. Now, one of the other things I was saying before the movie came out, when we've seen all them trailers, and I'm talking about Doc Ock here. Everybody's like, oh, Doc Ock, he's going to be one of the villains. We're going to have all this, the Sinister Six and all that, just all these things, which, whatever. But I was like, where was, in the scene where we see all three of the Spider-Man, and we've seen, the Sandman, we've seen Electro, and we've seen, and obviously the Lizard, and hey, who's that lizard jumping at? Well, the thing is I was asking, I'm like, how come nobody's asking where's Doc Ock? Where's Doc Ock in all this, right? And then we see here that, he was actually the one that stepped in later, because I was even sitting there like, Doc Ock has got to step in at some point. There's no way that he's not going, and he did, and he stepped in and he helped the Spider-Man. Because I had a feeling, I have a feeling he's not going to do the villain thing here, but it's going to seem, and they did. They made it seem like it. A bunch of very cool, like I said, a bunch of cool stuff. But I guess for what it is, one of the things that kind of bugs me about that at the same time is, like, as great as it is, and it's definitely the best of these three Spider-Man films in the MCU, is that's what it took, really, is for them to use all the other Spider-Men that have been in the other universes, if you will, to make such a great movie. Now, it is a good thing Sony owns all those Spider-Man movies and all that stuff anyway. So, I mean, for me, it's whatever, but I still kind of feel like that's what it took for them. But I'm still glad they did it, because I thought it was pretty cool seeing all of that stuff go down. We finally see something I know we've all been talking about, especially me. We finally see Peter Parker grows up out of being under the tutelage, under the wing of Tony Stark, Iron Man. Yes, we see that he actually had his own suit that he made, and he was running around. The only thing they didn't do was give us a nice, good, clean shot of it. I was sitting there watching the whole time, and it was all kind of fast and moving really quick and everything. They gave you a lot of angles of it and everything, but they didn't give us a full great shot of it. Oh man, I'm watching you, Kevin Feige. I know what you're doing, but it was absolutely great with some of those kinds of things. Again, they did a lot of things in this movie, and this movie is definitely what we thought it was. They're pulling on everything from the past, all these things, all the leaks and all that stuff. If you've been paying attention to all that, a lot of it was really came true. There was something that I was sitting there thinking, there's a couple of things that were probably discussed that weren't in this movie, because those things were just ridiculous. No. But everything else, yeah, absolutely. They totally tipped their hat to all the old Spider-Man movies. Obviously, hopefully bringing Peter Parker, our Tom Holland Spider-Man, into his own, because the way this ended, after Doctor Strange set the spell where everybody was going to forget him, is very interesting. And very interesting too, the fact that everybody kind of forgot him and how that's all gonna work, because we even seen that Happy, while he knew Aunt May at the end, he remembered Aunt May, but he was sitting there, he's like, and he goes up to Peter and he's like, oh, how did you know her? And he's like, oh, I knew her because of Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, me too. Like, so he remembers May and that and everything, but he don't remember Peter Parker, but he remembers Spider-Man. So it's going to be very interesting how that's all going to work in the MCU going forward. And that's why I say one of the things it kind of feels like they're going to take him just over to the Sonyverse, because like, well, everybody forgot him. We're talking Nick Fury would forget him, Doctor Strange would forget him, everybody else would forget him, everybody that was at the funeral would forget him, everybody that's worked with him would forget him, Peter Parker. They didn't forget Spider-Man, right? So how does that work? They don't know his identity, obviously, but he's still out there. And he's obviously still a menace, because we see that J. Jonah Jameson is still out there doing his thing, tracking down the Spider-Man. And I'm telling you, and that's another one of the born for these roles kind of guys, man. J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, absolutely great stuff. I cannot wait to see more of him in this as well. But altogether, man, I thought it was really good. You know, we got that mid-credit scene as well with where we had Tom Hardy in there, Venom having the whole conversation. Then he went and the guy was talking, the guy that was serving him, the bartender, was talking about his family had got snapped, and then he ends up going bye-bye, but he ended up going through the other thing, I'm guessing probably from the spell that Doctor Strange had set. So very tough, but he left the little Venom symbiote there, right? So that kind of makes you think like, okay, maybe Venom's gonna come in, and maybe Tom Holland, and that's gonna have, take place in the next, trilogy of films or whatnot. So very interesting. And then we got that Doctor Strange trailer at the very end as well. Doctor Strange going to Wanda, everything in there absolutely great. I'm gonna go see it again on Sunday so I can pay a little bit more attention to that. But absolutely great. I thought this movie was definitely the best of all the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. Absolutely great. But again, I gotta say, and there's other things that I kind of, just things that were happening, kind of like, like they realized kind of, come on. But nothing that was like bad enough in this film to make me not like it. Definitely the best of the Tom Holland Spider-Man MCU films, and definitely up there with the other Spider-Man films. And I think that is definitely due to the fact that they have the other Spider-Man in here to kind of not even complete the stories of those movies at all, but just to kind of use them for that, because we all know there's, and they know that too. So many of us absolutely love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We love Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I think there was a bigger cheer for Andrew Garfield than there was Tobey Maguire. I swear there was. But anyway, I thought the movie was pretty good. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me hear it for Doctor Strange, not the Sorcerer Supreme. Oh man, it feels good. Woo!
They are who we thought they were.
That's all I've got for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this on a live stream very soon. You all have a very good day. Give this video a thumbs up on your way out. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. YouTube's not going to tell me anyway. And while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a good day, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.